So, my name is Michael Thomas Chiango, and as you could probably tell by the title of the video, I am going to be talking about what it is like to be a romantic, because I am a romantic. So first of all, what does it mean to be a romantic? Well, it's not exactly the same thing as asexual. Asexual basically means that you don't experience sexual arousal, so you're not sexually attracted to others, and about 1 to 1.5% of the population falls under that spectrum. But then you have people like me who are aromantic, which basically means that I don't experience any forms of romantic attraction, which sounds kind of odd, but it's a thing. I mean, I couldn't exactly find any data on what percentage of the population identifies as aromantic, but, they definitely exist. And the thing you have to understand is that sexual attraction is not exactly the same thing as romantic attraction. Because even though the two often go hand in hand, sometimes they don't. Romantic attraction is kind of difficult to actually define, but basically it would be described by most people as the feeling of being in love or, having a crush on someone. And I've never really experienced that. I've never been in love, I've never had a crush on anyone, I've never dated, and I've never had the desire to date someone else. It's just something that's not important or attractive to me at all. Now, with that said, I don't experience romantic attraction, but I still experience sexual attraction. I'm heterosexual. I definitely enjoy the female form, but, never in any kind of relational way. Like, if there are other girls that I interact with, it's always in a platonic way. So, now I know what you might be thinking. How did I come to the conclusion that I was aromantic? Because, usually when people share stories about being gay or bi or something that, there's usually tell about a point where it just clicks, like where they weren't fully aware of that aspect of themselves originally, but it suddenly just dawns on them as they come to reflect on past experiences. For me, the thing that made me realize that I am aromantic was very odd, maybe something that you wouldn't expect, maybe. You see, I've never really been that much of a social person. When I was a kid, as a young teenager, I didn't talk to that many people. I was very antisocial, so for me, I never really indulged myself in any of the relationship drama or anything like that in high school. Like, I hardly had any friends, and I just kept to myself, so I don't really think I had the experiences that most people probably do when they are young, so I had a very skewed perception of what was normal. Like, for me, I just wasn't into a lot of things that other kids were into. I was an extremely odd person, maybe the most unique person in my school. I'm definitely still very weird, and I think I have an incredibly standout personality, for better or worse. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm basically the only vocal atheist in a Catholic school, but you get my point. I was into a lot of things that my classmates were not into. Like, I was into studying a lot and reading the entire Bible cover to cover twice, and also studying a lot. Did I mention that? And my classmates were into a lot of things that I was not into, like going to sports games and talking shit about the teachers and, dating. And for me, because of all the other huge differences there were between me and most of the other members in my school, I didn't really put too much thought into the fact that even though I was a developing teenager, I never even developed a semblance of romantic attraction to a girl like other kids. I actually thought it was more like a choice at the time. Like, as if people can really choose who they are attracted to. But again, that was my mindset when I was younger. I actually sort of saw myself as superior to other kids, weirdly, for the fact that, while all those other kids were, going on dates and stuff and smooching. God, that is such an aromantic way to say that. But yeah, while other kids were off doing that stuff, or at least I assume, I don't know, I wasn't there, but I clearly had more important things to do, living it up, crying myself to sleep every night because I got a 95 on my test instead of a 100. This is a little PSA moment. Listen up, little kiddies. Perfectionism is bad. It's very bad. Don't do it. But anyway, if I can try to circle back to my original point, even though I had very few people in my school at the time that I talked to on a regular basis, oh boy, did I watch a lot of YouTube. And the type of content that I watched on YouTube was quite varied. I watched all kinds of stuff, and one of the things in particular that I liked to watch a lot was channels talking about cartoons, because I liked cartoons a lot, and I still do, for sure, but Yeah, cartoons are great. But anyway, in regards to YouTube, I sort of go through phases where I will, be interested in one particular thing and then move on. And a few years ago, I don't really remember exactly when, but I got into watching cartoon crushes videos where, guys and girls on the internet talk about cartoon characters that they used to be attracted to, which, by the way, is totally normal. But anyway, something stuck out to me when I was watching these videos. The people in the videos were talking about having crushes on, like how they were talking about having crushes on these cartoon characters before they hit puberty. And this was really weird to me because I was like, well, how can you have a cartoon crush if you haven't developed sexual attraction yet, which takes place during puberty? So this is where I sort of got the idea, like maybe there is a little bit more to it than that. I didn't have a term to describe myself yet, but I had kind of figured out by that point, along with the help of Cartoon Crushes videos on YouTube, that there was definitely something going on with me that made me a little different from other people. And then eventually later, when I was researching asexuality, because, I was curious about different sexual orientations and I wasn't exactly taught basically anything useful because, Catholic school, and I came across the knowledge that there were some asexuals who, despite not experiencing sexual attraction, still desired non-platonic companionship, but there were also some asexuals who were also aromantic, and right there I was like, wait, yeah, that's totally me. I'm a heterosexual aromantic. But I think the thing that really sealed the deal for me and fully embracing the fact that I was aromantic was waifu culture. I mean, wow, I'm just picking the weirdest fucking topics to make my points, but really, so yeah, waifu culture, what is it? Well, basically, people on the internet who don't have girlfriends fantasize about what it would be like to have some of their favorite anime characters as a romantic partner. So this is kind of similar to the childhood crushes thing I was talking about earlier, but except it's adult cartoon crushes with much more lewdness, but which is again totally normal. But for me, an aromantic person, I've never truly had what I would consider a waifu. Oh, the scandal. I guess that means I'm not a real anime fan. But seriously, though, like, let's take the lovely Yang Xiaolong from RWBY. So she's one of my favorite characters from the show. I really like her. Very fun, bubbly, energetic personality. Like, she's a badass, and of course, she's extremely hot. But I feel like if she was a real person, or I were transported to the world of Remnant, it'd be really cool to hang out with her, but, like, the thought of actually dating her would never enter into my mind. It's just not, like, something that I would think about at all. Now, so yeah, that's my cartoon crushes and waifu culture explanation of aromanticism. But anyway, back to the topic though, sort of going to more in-depth explanation. Now there are some people who like me are aromantic, but are still sexual and enjoy the old beast with two backs routine, if you know what I mean, like not just aromantic and asexual, which I don't have a problem with. Like, I'm of the opinion that if you want to have consensual sex with a partner, there doesn't really necessarily need to be romantic feelings involved, but that kind of thing is just not for me. I can't ever see myself getting into a sexual situation with another person. I'm generally just not a very I'm generally a very touch averse person. Like, for example, I don't even do high fives or fist bumps or anything like that. I guess you could say I'm really the best kind of person to handle this current crisis going on in the world right now. But yeah, I'm 18 years old. I'm a virgin. I don't feel any shame in that, and I don't think a person should feel shame. I mean, I'm not comfortable having sex with another person, and I don't do things that make me feel uncomfortable. And maybe that'll change, and I might be more open to having sex in the future, but for right now, I'm fine. And as for, sexual satisfaction, well, I mean, the great thing about no longer being Christian is that I don't have to cut off my right hand when it offends me, wink wink. So we've established how I managed to figure out that I was aromantic and a bunch of other stuff. But now, how exactly do I feel about it? I don't know. I mean, I don't really have many opinions about it. I mean, it's never really been a big part of my identity or anything, me being aromantic. I mean, I definitely don't feel any shame about it, nor have I ever, because, it's just a natural part of me that isn't harmful, so I don't really see what the point is of feeling ashamed or getting all weird about it, as if it somehow makes me less than complete. I mean, I simply don't experience romantic attraction, and that's okay. Now, do I wish I did experience romantic attraction? Well, I mean, I guess it would be interesting to see how it feels, but no, not really, not generally. I mean, I have no desire to change the way I am if I could. I mean, like, it's sort of how, if I could feel if I could feel what it was like to be gay for, like, 3 days or something, or I would probably try it because I like having different experiences. but I wouldn't ever want to permanently change my sexual orientation or romantic orientation if I could. I'm perfectly comfortable the way I am, and I don't think that it's harmful to my life that I don't have the desire to form romantic attractions. Like I said, when I was younger, I had very slim amounts of social interactions, so there have not been many instances where I would have ever gotten into a romantic situation to realize that, it wasn't quite working great. But there were 3 instances that I can remember of something like that happening, which I will now share, because why not? Okay, so the first one was when I was a kid, like a little kid, younger than 8. I convinced myself that I was in love with my cousin and was going to marry her. And okay, I know that sounds gross, but it's not what you think. She wasn't actually my cousin. She was just the daughter of some good friends that my mom had, and we often saw each other, so we just affectionately referred to them as cousin and aunt and uncle. And you know what they say, if she's not directly related, she's safe to be dated. But, like I said, I convinced myself that I was in love with her because I don't really know. I guess I was just because it was my understanding as a really dumb young kid at the time that everyone got married when they get older. So if I was going to get married, why not marry this nice girl that I knew? Again, it was really stupid and went absolutely nowhere because they moved and I didn't really see her as often, and, I had no desire to follow up on that kind of relationship. But I know that's kind of weird and an underwhelming story, but I don't know, I was a stupid kid and did a lot of dumb random things. I was really weird when I was a kid, looking back on it, and not in a good, funny way, like I am now, at least I believe myself to be, but, I was a kid who had major psychological problems. You really don't know the half of it, but, anyway, next story. It was basically a time when I was in my first year of high school, so freshman year, and there was this girl who, we were out on a walk together, not, together, but, in my school, there's sometimes an opportunity for walking club, which is when students show up who are so bored and have nothing better to do than walk around the neighborhood like losers until the activity period ends. But I was out in one of these walks, because I was a loser, and, but not anymore, still kind of am, but I'm okay with that. But, and there was this girl with me who I could tell was hitting on me and trying to flirt with me and asking me a bunch of questions, and I think she was trying to invite me to a dance that was coming up at her school. I don't remember what the dance was for, but I don't know, but back to the story. The entire time this girl was trying to talk to me, and, I was just, not looking at her at all and being really indifferent, and now that I look back on it, I guess I was kind of rude. She basically just stopped trying with me. I even think I heard her friend say, "Give up, he's not interested." Yeah, I definitely could have been nicer in that instance, but at the time I was a lot more antisocial and didn't really communicate well with people. As you might imagine, after that encounter, I didn't find myself with many romantic pursuers, really none, actually. Throughout my entire high school experience, no one on Valentine's Day or anything, which, I was fine with, but, it was most likely due to, again, my extremely odd personality, not really fitting in with anyone else, being generally antisocial. Also, maybe my face. I don't think I generally look very good. I don't put much effort into my physical appearance. Here is a photo of my face for reference. I don't really think I look that great, but it's weird because most of my family say that, I look super handsome and dashing. Maybe that's just them trying to be nice, but my mom is always like, "Michael, you look like a caveman, all scraggly, go shave, having facial hair is a sin." She didn't actually say that, but well, damn near. Yeah, so there was one other very weird encounter in high school where one day I was in the bathroom. I don't even remember if it was junior year or sophomore year, and I was washing my hands when this guy, who was the only other one in the bathroom, he just said to me straight up, "Hey, you want to have sex? I have a really big penis." You got to admire his straightforwardness. So how did I respond? Did I turn him down, or did I agree and share one intimate night of bodily pleasures with him? Well, no, I just kind of left. I just left. I wasn't even really. It wasn't even really because I felt super awkward or anything. But I had just finished washing my hands and I wanted to get to my next class, so I just left. I just went out the door like a total boss. I didn't even know the guy. It was such a weird experience, but anyway, that pretty much draws the line for me in terms of significant romantic in quotes. I don't know if interactions in my life so far. Who knows? Maybe if college is the degenerate, hedonistic environment I've been told it is, maybe, I might get more experience of not paying attention to other people under my belt. I mean, I'm really excited for college, though. I mean, I hope it's everything I've been told it is. Like, I'm really ready for some serious atheist brainwashing. It better be at least as blatant as all the Christian brainwashing I've experienced in my childhood. So, going back to the topic of being aromantic, however, I just wanted to kind of clear up some misconceptions about being aromantic that some people hold, I guess, or just things that immediately come to mind. Anyway, one stereotype of aromantic people might be that they're really antisocial, and maybe I'm not exactly the best person to subvert that stereotype, but, I was very antisocial when I was younger. I think I am a lot less so now. Like, I think I have difficulty navigating certain social situations, but I'm opening myself up a lot more, and, like, interacting with people. I like having companions. It just so happens that I don't have any desire to form romantic bonds. Though due to the virus that must not be named, I'm certainly finding it a little bit more difficult to maintain my connections to people. So that's the thing. Also, some things that people might say to people who are aromantic, that they and some people in my life have already said this to me, you just haven't met the right person yet. Which, might have some amount of truth to it. I mean, because being aromantic isn't just necessarily one defined thing. Much like sexuality, I think romantic attraction exists on a spectrum, and some people who are aromantic don't experience romantic attraction unless it's for someone they have already formed a close, personal, platonic bond with. I think the term for that would be demi-romantic. So, there are really no, in regards to this, there are really no superficial crushes or love at first sight bullshit going on. And, maybe that's the case with me. To be fair, I still don't really have that many female friends, and the ones I do have, I don't see all that often because, again, the virus that shall not be named. I don't even know why I'm not just calling it the coronavirus. I've said it before in my previous videos, and it's not like my channel is monetized or anything, but, so yeah, maybe I will meet that special person one day, but, I don't think so, and I don't know. I mean, right now, I don't care because I don't worry about things like that, so, yeah. One other stereotype about people who are aromantic might be that, because I am not capable of experiencing romantic love, that means I, don't experience love for other people, which is just incorrect. Like I said, I don't have close relationships with a ton of people, but the ones I do have, I care about a lot. I'm very passionate about a lot of things. I'm not just like an emotionless person. I mean, I'm actually even planning on, adopting a child in the future. I mean, probably 3 decades into the future because of student loans and whatnot, but it's a plan nonetheless. Also, just because I am aromantic does not mean that, like, I don't enjoy romance in movies or shows. I mean, like, I like romance if, it's actually done right. Like, a good example is in, like, Star vs. the Force of Evil. Like, Jarko is a top-tier wholesome ship in my opinion, but, Starko...
Get away from me!
Hold him down.
Oh God!
Also, Tomko should have been endgame, don't at me. Like, you see what I'm talking about, though? I mean, I still get into shipping wars and stuff. Like, I still enjoy good romances in media, and I still, like, appreciate genuine romance of real couples in real life. I just don't experience those same feelings for myself. Like, anyway, so now rearing the end of the video, I guess I should explain why I felt compelled to make this video in the first place. Like I said before, it's not like my identity of being aromantic is super important to me, but I feel like in popular discourse about LGBTQ topics, certain sexual and especially romantic minorities tend to get left out of the mix. Like, it's super cool that gay people and trans people are getting a lot more respect and appreciation, but a lot of people don't even really know that asexual people exist, and way less people know anything about aromantic people. Most likely because, they're the kind of the invisible orientations. Like, they would be defined by, what you are not attracted to rather than what you are. And, there is, like, this kind of expectation in society that there are certain feelings that are felt by everyone that are inherently human. Like that you're going to fall in love with someone, or that you're going to be turned on sexually by something. But, for some people, maybe only a small minority, but for some people nonetheless, they're not going to experience those things, and it might make them feel disheartened, like there is something wrong with them. But there isn't. You're just you, and don't let anyone tell you differently. Oh, and also, if your Catholic religious teacher tells you that people who don't experience romantic attraction have a mental disorder, send him this video, why don't you? Also, I won't lie, I partly made this video for the clicks. Like, you see some of these aromantic videos on YouTube having thousands of views. Like, I want thousands of views. Like, I need them views, so share this video and like and subscribe for more. So I mainly make atheist content where I make arguments against religion and that kind of thing. So, if you're into that. And also, I make mini movies en español.
No usted, Alberte en mi por favor. Papa Noel quiere sangre. No trate gritar para la ayuda. Parda ahí. Papa.
Truly Oscar worthy. But yeah, like I said, share, subscribe. This has been the Skeptical Skeptic, aka Michael Chiango. Okay, I'm out. Bye.